Will you make sure everyone mutes themselves?
Yeah, we will. I'm just really excited that Jules is here. We have Jules Meeker, you guys. She's a brand new NMD. I don't know if you got a chance to hear her NMD chat or if you were in Denver at the regional. She just blew us all away. She made me cry during her NMD speech. So one of my favorite people, and I'm going to actually turn this over to Mel because Mel's going to moderate this call. So I'm turning it over to you, Mel.
Right. Thanks, Reagan. And, I'm so excited to introduce Jules because we were friends up in Steamboat before she moved to Orlando and then to Lander. And she's just always been an inspiration to me. And I'm just so excited that she is gifting us with her time this evening and her amazing message, which I heard the first time at our just regional in Denver, I guess in the spring is when it was. And she's going to talk about tonight about attracting your tribe. And I'm so excited about that message because I think so many of us here are looking to build our teams. And I think she does it in such an amazing and true and beautiful, authentic way, which she's going to talk about tonight, I'm sure. And I'm just going to turn it over to her because she's just so amazing. I don't want to waste any of our time. But let's just hear from Jules right now. I just love you and I adore you. And thank you for being on our call tonight. And what a gift.
Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. I'm excited. I have known Reagan for a long time. She has been a huge inspiration to me for years and years. So you'll hear my story and when I started this, but my heart, definitely one of the reasons I was excited to speak on Reagan's team and Mel's team is because Reagan for a long time, she would very much create incredible events up in Steamboat. And we were not on the same team. And that is the beauty of this business and this company is she would allow us, of course, to invite our people in and build for the events as well. So I love being able to actually, after all these years, be a guest NMD. How funny, right? You just never know how it turns out. So yeah, really, I'm actually going to share my screen right away and get into my PowerPoint. Where did my PowerPoint go though? It went away. So we're going to open this back up. It was all primed up, but something funky just happened with my electronics. So hopefully this opens. My phone just died and it's full battery. So I was like, what's going on? Something is happening. Okay, we're good. So you can see this, correct, Reagan? I can see you nod if you can when it opens. Can you see that, Reagan? Okay, awesome. So as they said, I am Jules Meeker. I'm a new national marketing director, and we got that title in August of this last year. And it's been a journey, and one I'm really excited to share with you because I think my story can kind of hit most people because I am raw, authentic, and real. And I'm sure something's going to hit home. But my story started actually, this is me 9.5 years ago. I found this product, or it found me when I was training for my first marathon. That's after a Boulder Marathon. I can't believe that was my expression because it was like the hardest thing I've ever done is do the one in Boulder. I did the first one in Portland, Oregon, and it was flat. And then I went to Boulder. Not a good idea. But that was my expression. I was joyful that I was done. So 9.5 years ago, Juice Plus found me. I was an undernourished, overtrained athlete, probably my entire life. I could never take vitamins because I didn't like that they made me bloated. They broke me out. I didn't like that my urine was neon. I just was like, I knew growing up, I never liked them. My mom always pushed them to me. So when I got out of high school, I was like, I'm done with those things. They don't make me feel good. So I literally wasn't taking anything for nutritional component. So 9.5 years ago, 25-year-old, I was in a yoga class with one of my acquaintances, now one of my best friends, Lori Egner. She asked me how my training was going, and I said, good, but man, I'm really hitting the wall at 3 p.m. Like, I can barely teach Pilates. Like, I am just so tired. And then at 8 o'clock, I have a wicked Ben & Jerry's addiction, and that's expensive stuff. I had a sugar addiction. Like, seriously. It was real. So she said, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And I was like, oh, thank you. That's cute. But no, I'm good. I was totally full of ego. I thought I had it figured out. So I was a hard one. You know what? I was an athlete and I took for a little bit, took me a little while. So 6 months later, same exact conversation, same yoga class. Finally, she gave me a CD and said, just listen to this and come back Monday and let me know what you think. So I got home. I'm like, Rob, my husband, we have to listen to this because I want to know why I'm going to say no to Juice Plus on Monday. Like, I feel like in life, you have to have a strong yes or a strong no, but be educated either way, right? So like, we're going to be educated why we're saying no. Because I know this is a vitamin and I know it's going to be protein powder that I can't digest like everything else I've ever tried. Lo and behold, you can only imagine the first CD went in and two minutes later we were sold, both my husband and I. My husband also was an athlete his entire life. He was a cyclist from early on, and he actually rode for Durango, Fort Lewis College, cycling, mountain bike, and road bike. And when I met him, he had just climbed Aconcagua, one of the highest peaks in South America. And guess what? No nutritional component, right? They're like eating raw butter because they need fat at high altitude, but no nutritional component. I so wish he had Juice Plus back in the day. So when we both heard about this, we were both, yes, this is what we need. We need nutrition, whole food, we're in. And I saw myself in the business immediately as well, because I had never had a solution for family, friends, clients that I was personal training. I never had a solution. So when I found this, I finally had a solution. So I jumped in with both feet. This is my why. So this is my business why, right? You have to have a why that makes you cry. And of course, usually if you have a family, I notice it's usually that family that makes you cry, right? So that picture that you saw previous was when I was 25. So when I jumped into the business for about 6 years, I really treated this business like a hobby. So I got to sales coordinator and stayed there and was pretty content, I thought, with that pay and just that hobby pay. And I was, because really at the time, I really thought I wanted a traditional business model. So I opened my own personal training business in Steamboat, trained people in their second homes. Once I did that and I realized people would go to the Bahamas and not pay me, when they left, I was like, oh, well, this isn't very cool. There's no residual income in this. And I realized my Juice Plus paycheck was the only thing residual income-wise in my whole life. My husband had a seasonal job. I had a job where people would go on vacay or they just were sick and they wouldn't pay, right? So then I had babies. So I treated this like a hobby for 6 years because I had to go through that stuff personally. I know I did. Because at the end of that, I was like, I'm not going back to my LLC of Steamboat Vitality or Durango Vitality. I'd actually opened a LLC in Durango to create that second business of mine when we moved. But in my heart of hearts, I knew I wanted residual income. So I shared these pictures because these are really dear to my heart. This is 3 years ago at Christmas. And what you see in this picture is a hubby that had a seasonal job and he worked his tail off. I mean, we're talking like, 15, 16-hour days, but seasonal job. And so when September hit, the rafting company closed. He managed the biggest rafting company in Durango. So he was hopping in the summer. September hits, it's closed. So September, October, November, December. This is December, you guys. These are faces of feeling a little stressed out financially. You wouldn't guess it, right? This was the moment of my turning point in the Juice Plus business. This was actually at a time, I share this all the time. My husband's okay with me sharing details too. He was also in the off season of this job. He was working independent contract positions. So he was working for different corporate companies actually. And you know how it's always usually a month behind or 2 months in pay if you've never worked for that company before. So we thought we had it all dialed in. You'll work for them in December and you'll check. Well, they were 2 months late. So middle of January, about a month after this photo was taken, I was at the grocery store and I went to pay for groceries. And I thought I had kind of figured out, okay, do we have $150 in the bank? Okay, yeah, I think we do. Yes, I'll go get groceries. And we didn't. And we got declined in our cards, both cards, debit and credit. And it was the point I went in my car, I sat in my car and I literally will never forget it. I was sweating. I'm like, and I sat there and I literally prayed and was like, there has to be a better way, residual income. We've only had non-consistent pay in our entire adult life. Like, I'm so sick of this. And it was like just came to me. I was like, you're sitting on a gold mine. People have come before you. All these people you look up to, you know, Reagan, your national marketing director, 100 Club, and very inspiring mentor you have right here at your fingertips. She's done it. I watched her do it. And I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm a driven person. I have my own businesses. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That was my stake in the ground moment. And I shared that really long story because until there is a shift in your heart and your soul and there's a stake in the ground, you won't shift and think radically. So that was my radical shift. And I went, I'm doing it. So fast forward, this is December. This is July. This is Hawaii. We got to officiate a wedding for my sister-in-law. They got married in Hawaii. And guess what paid for that trip? My Juice Plus Senior Sales Coordinator bonus of $1,000. I'll never forget. It was like $1,000 bonus. I about fell off my chair. And my Juice pay checks. That is what paid for this. Totally. It was fabulous. We even got like a convertible rental car because why? Because I was a businesswoman and I had put a stake in the ground. I was a senior sales coordinator. Literally, we got the car rental place. They're like, do you want to upgrade? I'm like, yes, I want an upgrade. And you had a stake in the ground. And so that was true joy. You see these faces, especially that one, right? True joy of just future. This is right here. This was 2 months ago. This was National Marketing Director moments before we got on stage as a family to do my speech. This is my why. And again, if you don't have a why that gets your heart and soul and makes you pick up the phone on a Tuesday, your goal you write down, it's going to be harder to get to. So I encourage you to really sit and think, if it's not financial, if it's giving back, if it's however, just think about that and tap into that. What is your why? Okay, so that was mine. Now, something you have to know, this is called the art of recruiting, because in my story, I said I moved twice in the last 3 years. And that previous photo was I actually went from sales coordinator I really had one team member as a sales coordinator starting out in Durango. And I was self-qualifying, so probably 30 customers, and that was like it. To qualified national marketing director, so that was in February, sales coordinator, dead in the water, to qualified national marketing director, 12 Club by August of that year. The same month I got to 12 Club NMD, we moved to Lander, Wyoming, right? So guess what I got to do all over again? Recreate and reconnect and build community in a new town, in a new state where I knew no one again. So I've done this twice, you guys, twice in 3 years. So that's why I've been really called, I feel like, to share this message of there's no excuse. I mean, we are the only ones that hold ourselves back. So if you've just moved or you feel like you're isolated, I got you beat. I live in a town of 6,500 people. The closest cities is Park City is 3.5 hours away. Billings is 5 and Denver is 6 hours from here. No lie. So that was actually something when I moved here, I had to really digest and really think about what's holding me back. I actually was like, there's no way I could be NMD in Lander, Wyoming. There's no one around. I can't. And I had to really process that and go, do I really feel that way though? No, I don't. So it's time to get to action and movement. So Art of Recruiting is the title of this conversation. Your vibe attracts your tribe. This is like the subtitle, because it's true. Whatever you put out, however you show up at pickup, however you show up at the church, church on Sunday, wherever you're doing life, how you show up, you're going to attract friends and or team customers, things like that, right? So your vibe attracts your tribe. Mel, are you done? Take it to you. Okay, I don't want to move on. So what does this look like? And I shared this in Denver and everyone started laughing. It's so true. So Top Gun, you remember Top Gun? Of course you do. Hello, Maverick. Love Maverick. So Top Gun was super smart. So this, and the reason I pulled this in is they were incredibly savvy at recruiting. And you may not know this, but Top Gun was created to help with recruiting for naval aviators. So they knew it was super low. The enrollment was incredibly low. So it was created to inspire the United States to recruit, or people to get recruited into the naval aviator. So why were people inspired to join Top Gun, and why did recruitment increase by 500%? Do you know that? recruitment, 500%, and they've never had an issue since Top Gun has been released of people enrolling. Because everyone fell in love with Iceman, with Maverick, with the beach volleyball scene. I mean, I was 5 and I wanted to be a naval aviator, right? And marry Iceman. I mean, who did? Hello, Val Kilmer. So why? Because they were enticing. They were, and I'm going to get into the next slide. They were confident. They oozed confidence, right? That's why. So it's incredible. So think about that. Like, okay, Top Gun, they recruited with that. Interesting concept. So this picture is just, a silly one that a lot of you guys do. This is some of my team. I think it was it Phoenix? I think it was Phoenix for the 80s party. Yeah. So what is attractive? What's attractive of Top Gun? Like I said, confidence, approachability, humility, sincerity, vulnerability. So some of the reasons why, like, I go vulnerable, and of course I asked my husband first if I could share these personal details with people, and he was totally okay with it. But I go vulnerable because it allows me to be human, and people can connect with my authenticity, and there's trust built with being vulnerable. So however you feel comfortable sharing, be silly. That's something too, like just being silly, not taking ourselves too serious too. Sometimes I get into work mode, and my word for 2017 is, I'm a workhorse and I can get it done, but I want to make sure I'm playing and having a lot of fun in 2017 too. Because that attracts tons of people, right? When you're fun and you play, be silly. And of course, joy. That is truly what people have said in passing to me is, how would you stay joyful? Like even in seasons of your life where it's not, I know your home situation and you're still showing up joyful. So this is how do you start your day? This is how I can authentically, because I try not to, the best is I try not to fake it, right? You don't want to fake it. You want to be authentic. So how do I truly show up at pickup, smiling and joyful and talking to people and mingling and networking, or at swim lessons? This is how. So I always ask, what are you reading? So I switched these again because the last time I was in Denver, I had a whole different, book collection I was reading. But I wake up, and this is my devotional right now, Marianne Williamson. If you were at conference, I recited the poem, Our Deepest Fear. And so I bought a bunch of her other books. I just always loved that quote, but I hadn't read a lot of her stuff, to be honest. So I'm reading A Year of Miracles. It's a quick, fast read, daily devotional. Literally takes me probably 30 seconds to read, if that. Affirmations. So I added Lauren. I've used some other affirmation cards, but Lauren Slocum's a big 100+ club member as well. Incredible woman. Works with Tony Robbins a lot, or has worked for him for like 25 years or more maybe. But she just created these cards. They're I Am affirmation cards. They're 2 for $30 right now. So I encourage, because I love her too, and I would love to see her, just profit, be blessed by us really getting her cards. So I'm waiting to get hers right now. I just have some that I've written down over the years, and I have on my note cards, and I do them every single morning. But I'm really excited to get these. So I added that because it's going to be in my new list. My monthly books right now is I'm finishing up Contagious, Why Things Catch On, by Jonah Berger. Super interesting psychology of why things become contagious in the world. Why Apple actually put the apple to face the person looking at the computer versus, right? There's psychology of that. Yes. So it's incredible. He goes into all that. Super cool. And then Tony Robbins, Money, Master the Game. It's a big, thick book, but it's really good because, yes. Oh, honey, of course you're reading it. We're like, holy soulmates. Yes, totally. Okay, so good. So the other thing is, and I love podcasts as I'm like cooking, or if I'm cleaning the house, I'll put my headphones in, especially if I know I need to up level myself that day. If I'm like, I have some stinking thinking and I have to mind my mind right now. And so this is what my secret is when I have those days, because trust me, it's not always rainbows and unicorns. I get that. as much as I always wish it would be. When I'm feeling stinky, I double down on the personal development. So if I'm like, maybe I'll do this twice, like in the afternoon, I'll read like these again, or I'll listen to a podcast and just change my mind, change my thinking. Neuroplasticity is the study of the neurons that fire together, wire together. And if we mind our mind and we can become masters of that emotion, that thought that comes in like, oh, you offended me. And instead of letting that take out your entire day, you have the ability to mind your mind, go, oh, that was offensive. What's my role in that? Oh, really nothing. So I really don't have a resentment against what she just said to me, and I release it and I move on with my day, still joyful, right? So that's what I mean by minding my mind, is pausing that thought, feeling that emotion, release, okay? And I'm saying all this because it's hugely important in our business. All of this growth, this personal growth, this business is personal growth business, right? If we were all unmuted, you'd all say amen right now. What music are you listening to? Definitely if you're having one of those days, like I love classical music and NPR, but sometimes I just like need to shift it to my bar instructor dance cardio like mix to like change my blood pressure, like, you know, to kind of change my mood. So thinking of that, like sometimes if you're feeling a little down, feeling depressed, like what is in your environment? Do you have to shift that for maybe 10, 15 minutes to change your attitude before you make that three-way phone call with your new business prospect and Mel or your upline sponsor, Reagan, or whoever, right? So you're kind of shifting that. Okay. I said this at the regional and Mel totally sent me a text of her adorable office, by the way. I love your office. But what do you have in your office? So I call it the bliss, because you should really surround yourself. Words are so powerful, as we know. They're so hugely powerful. Look at Mel's like love, and it's just fabulous back there. But these are some of the ones. I have more now because I've continued to add every month. But really, it's just things that inspire me. Do all things with love. You know, enjoy the journey. Life's a beautiful ride. This is my vision board, manifestation board. Every single 6 months to a year, depending on what I've written down and the goal timeline. This last one was a year out, actually. A year ago, I wrote down 24 Club, NMD, 2016. And it's crazy because we closed out last month at 21 Club. A year ago, you guys, we were at 8 Club. So to write that number down, that was nuts. It was nuts. So this manifestation board is incredibly powerful. That's above my office. I'm looking up right now. It's right above my, not my office, my computer. All things are possible. Follow your dreams. Love you more. You know, just my family. This is my whole entire family. All the things I love and my whys are in my office. And on a Tuesday, you can feel like, oh, it's middle of the week. Do I really want to make that call and follow up with that customer? I have my space where I look around and I see my 12 Club, you know, medal and the things that inspire me to rock forward in my business. It helps me to pick up that phone and shift that thinking of, you know what, but my goal is 24 Club. And that's my goal by December. So I better pick up the phone, you know, and I'm inspired to pick up the phone. So I love this saying. Some people don't love it, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And people watch consistency and align with work ethic. So especially when I moved Steamboat to Durango and here, really it takes moving. It took me, I noticed, like a year to really create community and friendships, like authentic friendships. And how you create that is staying consistent, and my work ethic as a bar instructor and some of the things that I'm going to share right now. So I stayed consistent with it. So I created community building events. And actually last February was when I put a huge stake in the ground and I decided to commit. But I knew I still needed to connect with people that I had shared Juice Plus and they weren't yet interested. I had to create more of a friendship in that person before I shared Juice Plus again. Salad prep. I did one every single 2 weeks, Saturday at 4 at my house, starting in January until May. And I will tell you, we started with like 8 and we ended with like 30. It was crazy. And a ton of people that weren't coming to my Juice Plus events they were coming to my salad prep. Now, there's 2 ways to do salad prep. There, you can do a Juice Plus event with the salad prep. For me, how I did it was actually, I didn't do a Juice Plus event because people were not coming to some of the Juice Plus events I was inviting to personally, but they were open to the salad party. So what I did is I really created a safe place for them to get to know me and my heart. So I would just say, welcome to my home. You're probably wondering how the salad party prep has been created. I am aligned with an incredible company, the Juice Plus company. Our mission is to inspire healthy living around the world. And we have this healthy living revolution that we were so excited to be a part of this community. And we are taking healthy back one step at a time. And one of this easy, simple ways is to have a salad prepped every day. So we can't stumble at lunch. We have something ready and tangible in our hands. How cool is that I work for a company that loves our people so well? So that's why you're here, you guys. That's why. And then, of course, I actually had all of my shake. This is a little subtle thing, kind of like the contagious guy. So I kept all of my shake scoops. So I used those to dish out the stuff into the mason jar. So it's the subconscious connection for real, right? So they look down, they're like, oh, this is kind of cool little scoop, Juice Plus. Okay, for real. I mean, things like that you don't think of literally help, literally. So that was another little thing. Something I'm going to start doing more of because I so believe in them more and more as I get older is vision board, manifestation board, however you want to call it. I'm going to start doing it. There's a really cool new community center that was just open last Friday here. And I'm going to start doing these and just invite the community for free, actually even. And this is, again, going to connect with people that I don't know from bar class. I teach 1 bar class a week to connect and network with people. It's going to create, just a room full of people that I probably do not connect with on a daily basis. In the past, I've done free fitness classes in the park. So if you're a fitness instructor, if you have team, maybe they offer that to create some following. Or, cheaper fitness classes, mom and me groups, play dates. I said this last night. We were chatting with Mel's team. And, when I moved to Durango, I had to be savvy with networking. And I went to MOPS. I went to this thing called meetup.com, where it's literally anything that's going on in a town or a city, you can go onto it and see. So I would look and it would say, mom and me play date at the park. So I would go, and it was really outside my comfort zone, you guys. It felt like dating for moms, but I was like, whatever, I'm going to meet people. And it always felt awkward to walk around and mingle with people at the park. I just didn't like that. So I was like, let's just cut out the big fat elephant in the room and meet up. So you just go and you'd sit down and you'd see this, blanket out and you'd say, is this the meetup for the mom and me? Awesome. I'm Jules. And I'd sit down with my kids and you would have an instant connection with 10 women, 10 moms. And then guess what I did right from there? I added them on Facebook because that was how I would know a face with a name. And then when I would create this or have them come over for a play date, coffee and scones or Juice Plus balls or whatever you're making, I would go through my Facebook event. I would personally invite them and I would create a community. So I'm a master network community builder. So really though, it's easy as that. And I always use I love Facebook because I can see your face and your name. Can we connect on Facebook? What's your name? How easy is that? I'm sure all of you do that, but if not, it's something to really utilize. Okay. Social media. I'm sure as a team, you guys probably address this. If not, I'll go through it though. Social media, I always just ask my team, what are you putting out on social media? And I just don't think it's a platform for drama. I don't. There were times where even through the election, I would respond and then delete it. And I felt better, but I didn't post it. So because I just knew in my heart, I wasn't going to shift or change or do anything but stir the pot. So sometimes if you even have to just in the comment section, you write it and then you hit delete, you'll feel better. It's out there. It's off your chest. But I just don't think it's a place where it's not that I'm not being authentic. I just don't think it's a place for it. I think you can talk to your hubby, you can talk to your friends. You don't need to put it on Facebook. staying optimistic, like I said before, you're minding your mind. Again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect at this all the time. I'm just saying I strive, I love this verbiage, for emotional sobriety. So thinking about it in this way of, if something irritates you, like, because we are people, we are around people all the time, and we are going to offend, or it's just the way it is, right? When we interact with people, if you get taken out, or the wind just, how much do you get jostled by that? Or are you able to, again, recognize that emotion, think about it, like, well, what's my place in this? Oh, there's really nothing. Did it affect me? No. What's my role? Nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna release that. Or if there is something there, then you just go to that person. There's no resentment. There's no way of being taken out for the entire day. So just that, minding your mind, staying optimistic by being really aware of your mental, between the ears. Again, staying authentic, staying true to you. So this is something else that I'll share my family. And again, my husband totally knows I share all this again, but authentic. So a year ago, my husband had just returned from treatment in California for alcohol addiction. And people would ask me, like, how are you staying? You're still joyful. Like, my friends, not everyone knew that he was in California, but my friends would really just say, like, how are you staying so joyful? And honestly, it was my morning ritual. It was my morning ritual that I already talked about. And I stayed emotionally sober through that time of having a 3 and, it would have been 3 and 5 at home by myself, holding down the fort while he was in California, getting healthy mentally and emotionally and physically as well. But something really cool about that season, I still stayed authentic. Like, I still would post stuff in that season of overcoming, of just encouraging. I mean, looking back at posts from a year ago, I stayed really positive and optimistic in a really coaching way of what I was feeling, right? So it may have been more of like, really, you can get through tough times, you guys, because I was in that space. So I was still showing up authentically from the space I was living. Now, a year later, and my husband's a year sober, and life is completely crazy different. It's incredible what a year makes, right? Now my posts are completely different. Now my posts are on achieving your dreams and going for something, following your butterflies and going big, because that's just what happened. My husband, sober a year, he conquered the beast. He's still conquering it every single day. And I conquered the beast of NMD, so that's authentic to me now. So just thinking about that, what's your authentic self? Stay authentic. I love Reagan. You are just lovely. I'm not you, right? You're not me. You're not going to post stuff I post or fake. I can't fake to be Reagan. Early on in the stage, I was like, or in the game, and I was 25. Sure, I maybe wanted to be Reagan, and like, okay, yeah. But then I realized, like, oh, people are attracted to me though. And so, or anyone else that your upline is, if it's not directly Reagan or someone you admire, we can admire those people and so love them. And then really, people are always attracted to our true authentic selves, us being us. So these also, social media, subtle plugs, right? So I love hashtags because a lot of times people will read the hashtag and skim the paragraph you posted. My team is Team True. So I post, Team True. A lot of times, like even sledding last night, I posted, make a life, time flexibility, stuff like that, where people do see that and go, she does have time flexibility. How is she like playing with her kids and doing whatever, picking up every day after school, or making, ginger snaps at, 3 p.m. Doesn't she work? She works. Intrigue. So something about social media, be careful that we don't post billboards. Billboards, you're talking at someone, right? Hashtag subtle pictures, you're inviting conversation. So billboard, you're just stating. Bumper stickers, they just state what you are. They don't invite conversation, right? So thinking in terms of that as well. Obviously are two that I love. Healthy Living Revolution, what a great hashtag, because it's just going to blow up Facebook with everyone out in the Juice Plus company. Taking Healthy Back, or HL Revolution. So these are some examples. This is still from the Denver regional. I didn't update these just because this was August. This was all of different August quote tiles. So outdream your dreams. These are some just examples, but you're better than a unicorn and sparkles combined, right? So I really am saying that to people and authentically like posting what I'm excited about. This was when we reached August, 30, how many days we're in, 28. I'm just a girl who decided to go for it. That was when we found out that we made NMD, so just positive intrigue. I didn't say, at the time I reached NMD, that was my post. Like, I just got the call. There was me on the phone, like crying. And then I posted this. And then people asked me private message, well, what is this promotion? Create intrigue. I've enrolled or recruited in the last 3 months a mass amount of people because of, also because the thing about reaching these goals and promote and saying that, like really outdream your dreams, up level yourself. When you do it, people will show you or ask you then, how did you do it? Right? So when you reach sales coordinator, when you reach senior Q, NMD, they will come to you and say, okay, now I want to know how you did it. Teach me the way, right? When you get 100 Club, you have people coming out of the woodwork that say, I've loved Juice Plus for 2 years. Okay, I'm ready to join I call it my healthy living bandwagon. Like, come on, jump on board. We're having fun. Okay. So in conclusion, this really does conclude our talk. I love the term up level because we can always have the ability to up level ourselves. And that may be your word for 2017, up level. I don't know, but I love that word. You will up level yourself and attract and find prospects if you start your day with that winning mindset, or just that mindset and changing the stinking thinking. Really, if you wake up on a bad side, you're flipping it and you're really coming from a place of gratitude. Being consistent. Staying consistent, not yo-yoing in your business, staying really consistent with posting on social media, on voxing your team. Consistency is exactly where it's at. We just won't grow if we're hot, cold. And early on, honestly, when I was in my early 20s, I had so much going on with personal training and I wasn't sold out yet for residual income. I know, isn't that crazy to even say that out loud? I wasn't yet. I wasn't consistent. And I could not grow a team to save my life. And it was crazy, the difference. Now I'm consistent and my team is just continually expanding. Positive social media presence. So showing up there, staying authentic to you, really staying authentic to who you are. Really huge is recruiting up and inviting in. So what I mean by recruiting up is this is an interesting thing I subbed a bar class today. If you don't know what bar is, it's basically like the prep to ballet. And they were in a really hard pose and I had everyone think of their word for 2017. I'm that coach. I'm a life coach as I teach spin and bar. It's pretty funny. So they're in this pose and they're like feeling it. They're in pain. I said, what's your word? And everyone had to say it out loud. And I heard like love and fighter and, contagious and all these incredible words that just filled the room. And some I could actually see, and I knew who was going to have difficult in this practice. They were like, come back to me. I don't know. And it's the people that really later after class, I had them wait. And I kind of helped them with that. I was like, let's peel that layer back, an onion. Like, what's going on there? What's that chatter in your head that you can't come up with a word? Is there limiting growth, self-belief there? So it was really a really cool opportunity to speak life into them. But the point was, I literally was like, oh, I know who I'm going to invite to my next event and or into this business. The women that were immediately like contagious, fire, like they were rocking and they were holding that pose and they said it with moxie. And that's what I mean by recruiting up. Those women, they knew who they were rocking it and they were attractive. Does that make sense? So recruiting up to those people, or recruiting up to people that you feel like wouldn't get it. They're already a dentist, lawyer, whatever, fill in the blank. Recruit up and out of that comfort zone. And then, of course, you're inviting them in too. And to conclude, again, your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'll coach some people sometimes, and they'll sit on my couch and they'll start to slump and they're like, I don't know, I'm just feeling frustrated and defeated. Like no one wants to get Juice Plus from me, and no one wants to join my team. And I will kindly peel that layer back, right? And I'll share, would you be attracted to you right now, in a very loving way? And they receive it well, don't worry. But they get it. They're like, no, you're right. And then I get to coach them and go, what do you do in the morning? What have you been moving your body physically? Have you been changing your physiology? Do you jump up and down before you pick up that phone to call someone about a customer about their Juice Plus? Or are you calling them from a place of self-pity, right? So really, unless you shift it, you move, you up-level yourself intentionally. That is how I have attracted 12 Club QNMD team in 5 months in Durango, living there a year, and again in Lander, Wyoming, right? I put myself up and out. I have my shoulders back when I go into school, into swim lessons. I am attracting by the confidence that I am overflowing with. So my vibe absolutely has attracted my team into this business. Does that make sense? And I'll conclude too, really just you showing up authentically you. I can't reiterate that enough, because it's so, did I stop sharing? Yeah, I did. Okay. Because when you show up authentically and unapologetically your confidence goes up. You're not faking it. And then you're intentionally up-leveling. That's what attracts this business. You hear it all the time. It is a personal growth business. And when we are monitoring here, that comes out of us, and that is how we attract other people. And also I have to say, we can get to this place of attracting and we feel really good and we're amped up and not pick up the phone. So how this pertains to your business is when you get to that, people asked me the last time I trained on this, what do you do then? How do you connect with people? And I'm like, everything and anything. I will be picking up at my son's after school, and I will feel good. And I walk there actually because it makes me feel good. It's only like 4 blocks away. So we'll walk there. My younger son and I will walk to kindergarten. By the time I get there, I've had blood going and I'm chatting with everyone. And I'm that person. I'm chatting and I'm smiling and I'm saying, hey, how's it going? And how was that trip to wherever? And or there's a really beautiful mom that I just met the other day, and she was striking, beautiful, and kind of standing off by herself. And it just hit me. I was like, I'm going to tell her, you know what? Authentically say, gosh, you are beautiful. And she just kind of blushed. And I was like, I hope that's okay, but you just really are. And we connected. And I was like, how have I not met you? I'm Jules. I've lived here a couple years. And that has to be authentic to you, Jim, I don't know if you should go to a kindergarten pickup site and say women are beautiful. Just kidding. You might get in trouble for that. No, just kidding. See, having fun, right? I have to kid. I'm a kidster. Anyway, so that, I'm connecting at pickup, at swim lessons, at drop off, at grocery store. Sometimes I don't want to make conversation. I'm human, but most of the time, if I am at my good space within, then I'm connecting with people all the time. I'm networking all the time. So the last training I did, how did it go so long? I'm sorry it took so long. Usually that's like 30 minutes, but that's okay. If you have questions, go ahead and unmute. Usually there's a couple, and I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, I just want to say that was awesome, by the way. And, I have known you for years, and for me to see you've always been positive and you've always been outgoing and smiley and plugged in, but you also, when I knew you were hesitant in your Juice Plus business. And you could see that. You could see that you had, that confidence was not always there. You kind of were faking it a little bit till you make it.
Yes.
Well, just to see you decide and make these changes, what do you think it was that, because I think a lot of people, they want to do it like you did, kind of. You kind of did, right? You kind of showed up once in a while. I know it was your why that made that change, but what helped you it shift into, I can be a great leader?
Oh, leader. So you're more asking leader as like a QNMD and NMD.
Well, because I mean, you can go and you can take people to events and you can show up, but if you're not feeling like you can do it,
Yep.
it's still, it's still hard. And there's a place where there's a decision that's made that's like, you know what, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
That changes. And I mean, obviously you went NMD in 3 years and you moved, twice in that time. Really? I mean, you sat at sales coordinator for how long?
6 years. Yeah.
6 years. Yeah. So really you went NMD in 3 years.
Yes. And probably projecting, if we were to move from Durango, probably within a year, it would have been a year. It'd been crazy, but that's okay. It was part of my journey. I was supposed to really go through that loss, right? And become a really good leader. Yeah, I know what you're asking. And I think, part of my mantra was fake it till you become it, honestly, is yes, I was scared. When I said yes 3 years ago in Durango, I remember saying to my husband, I don't really know how to lead people. And I have a team that just joined at like 50 reps in a month. How am I supposed to do this? Part of the reason I know now looking back, Durango fell through because I enabled my team there. And when we moved, they were still nursing. They were not. Yeah, but I got to learn, right? I got to learn how to create independent team.
Yes.
Right? You go through that dependent, interdependent, dependent, and they were completely dependent for me. So that's, I love looking back and going, oh gosh, that was so meant to be because I'm such a better leader now. But, honestly, I think what shifted, I just worked on my confidence. Honestly, I peeled the layers back. It's personal growth, you guys. I came from a family. I came from a dad that I asked him one time what his dreams were, and he said, dreams don't come true. He hated his job for his entire life. He worked really hard, hated his job. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I thought I did because I was an athlete my entire life. I was affirmed by sports and my coaches, but I didn't have inner confidence. In the last 3 years, I worked on that fully. I have worked on that fully and realized my dad's insecurities don't have to be my dad's insecurities. I mean, we're going deep here right now, but truly that's what I had to go through. I was like, no, I am a leader. Like I am an entrepreneur. I have my own business. This is just different. And also the consistency piece was absolutely everything. When I really finally decided, yes, I'm all in, the consistency was everything. Because before it was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'd kind of really tackle it for a while and I'd get bored and I'd move on. And I don't do that ever anymore. I am always Juice Plus fully. The other thing too is remember 3 beliefs are belief in product. Everyone usually that's absolutely 100%, 110. Belief in yourself, belief in the industry or company. And so for me, I've really read books and on the industry of network marketing, direct sales, GoPro I really like because it really gave me, or Flip Flop CEO. That's just a bunch of women that's in a bunch of different direct sale companies talking about how network marketing has changed their life. Books like that you're like, yes, I am absolutely sold out 100% that I'm a network marketing professional and proud of it. There's no way do I want to go back to traditional business. I traded dollars for hours. And when they went to the Bahamas and I was still at the gym on Christmas Eve training, I didn't get paid when they were gone. Like, yuck. Now this year we're going to Mexico and California, Legoland. I mean, what a difference, right? So, so I would say that too.
Well, I think consistency is what I think when I look back at your journey, I think that was key because consistency builds confidence. Yes. Because you get a little win and you don't stop. But when you start pausing, all those negative thoughts start coming back in your head and you start thinking about it instead of doing it. And when you get consistent, you just do. And pretty soon you look back and you've had all this amazing stuff happen.
Yep.
So I'm just so proud of you. I'm just stinking proud of you, just so you know.
Thank you. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, it's good stuff. And all of you are next. You know what? And yeah, it's such a cool growth. You just grow so much. within, and I know you've been going to the Tony Robbins events.
Yeah.
Talk about growth. I mean, then you think I'm 100 Club and you're still growing, right? You're still up leveling. You're still peeling those layers back. And it's beautiful. I mean, this company, this industry gives us the opportunity to constantly be shifting and changing who we are, what makes us tick. So I'm honored to speak on your call. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And I'd love to open anybody. I'm sure you guys have questions. Who would like to ask her a question?
I have a question, Reagan. It's Jennifer.
Sure.
So I mean, I've seen like over the time, and I don't know if this has to do with the consistency or the confidence or maybe both, but like all of a sudden you have somebody who now everybody wants to be on your team. So why is that? Like, you know, where does that happen? I mean, you may not know exactly, but it's just, to me, I try to like think about like, how does that happen that somebody like for 10 years or 14 years or 2 years or whatever that time is, and then all of a sudden, boom, everybody's like joining your team. You know, what's the difference? Is it what you're saying that's different? Is it the confidence? I mean, what do you think it is that all of a sudden you went from, and not just you, this happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But where you go from, yeah, you're really not having people that join the team and do this, and all of a sudden, boom, they're just coming in like gangbusters.
Yeah, you know what? It's all intensity,
Momentum,
consistency, momentum. You do not let that ball stop, right? Momentum, absolutely. And remembering Jim Rohn, you can't plant and harvest in the same season.
that's
Right? You can't. So you just can't. So remembering right now, you may be planting. And I coach this with my team all the time. I'm like, I know you've had 4 events and no one showed up. You're planting seeds, girl. Because in 3 months, all of a sudden people will come out of the woodwork and private message you on Facebook and say, I'm ready to get the shoes for my kids and me. That, you know, you will harvest. What sets NMDs apart, or anyone that gets up to leadership, really senior Q and NMD, we've just heard more no's, and we minded our mind, and we kept planting. And then that momentum, you start harvesting and you're planting at the same time. So you're consistently doing things, connecting, networking, planting, and harvest. You know, so today I did connection calls, right? I planted, posted something on Facebook, hashtag something, smoothie or whatever. And I followed up with several people, and I just put in, you know, like 4 orders today. I harvested. So now I'm living in that, right? Like everyone, you know, when you get that momentum, that's all it is. Because even Durango, remember, I had only lived there a year. Oh, actually, we had only lived there for about 10 months before I got a boom. Now, for me, that was, I invited the gym owner who had a massive following for about 10 years at this gym. So she was one that actually fast tracked to almost senior within about 4 months. So that was, I ended up inviting the right person in to set me on fire. And then I was like, I felt unstoppable. When we moved, she actually doesn't even exist anymore. She completely fell out, my senior sales coordinator. I had the opportunity of personal growth, disciplining my disappointment, and starting over, right? And I did. Those are always tough. Oh man, it still is like, but it grows you, and you have some moxie and tenacity when that happens to you. You're like, okay, well, I can get through this again. So yeah, so then you just go back into it. You're planting and harvesting.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I have a question for you, Jules. I know you heard a lot from me last night. Can you hear me?
I can't
Okay.
see you. Oh, there you are, Jackie. Yep.
So you talked a little bit about your daily, reading and kind of the podcasts and those kinds of things. Can you talk a little more about what your daily method of operation is in terms of just, aside from those like the podcast or the reading, what are things that in your business you do every single day?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like I don't necessarily do, like, I coach my team 2x2x2. So you're connecting, you're dripping, you're following up, you know, you could do these different systems, and I'm sure, Reagan, you have some great ones that you coach them on. For me, now I'm above that. I mean, I'm not meaning, but like, I have, you know, my customer list, and today I followed up with probably 10 people that I had blasted out. You know, I'm going to send 10 samples to the first 10 people that comment on these in this comment. Actually, I did that, and it blew up on Instagram and Facebook. And what's amazing is all of those people are buying multiple for family, like husband, wife sponsoring trio. And it ended up being incredibly good. So that's like, today I spent a lot of time on that, but then also I spend quite a bit of time, because now I have the time because my kids are in preschool, creating posts of intrigue. So I'll create a post that I can already just post tomorrow. I'll have it ready in my photos. I mean, stuff like that, where in my head, I know what I'm already going to put out there and social media to promote tomorrow's Tower Garden. Actually, I've already prepped. But I know how I'm going to market tomorrow then. And then also, of course, I'm connecting with my team. I have weekly team calls with my team. So, I mean, each day is slightly different just with team follow-up. But then also, I'm always following up, usually every day, with a raving fan customer and trying to connect them on a 3-way call with like Gretchen, or even a sideline NMD buddy. I have someone that just signed up as a pharmacist, that she's a pharmacist. And she's actually repping a different product line. And I think she'd be incredible in our business. So I'm going to connect her with Casey. Hopefully Casey will do it with me. But I was like, oh my gosh, I should just do like a welcome to the product call with Casey, and it will naturally go into pharmacy talk, and I don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to connect with Casey tomorrow. So I'm always projecting out how can I plant and follow up. So that's where I got like those 4 orders in as well. So I don't have like a system of 5 by 5 by 5. I'm just like constantly going through my lists of customer prospect follow up, who liked. I mean, social media, the reason you post stuff is the people that like it, you want a private message and say text splits. I am so happy that you understand and you are aligned with a healthy living revolution. You know, if I sent you a video, would you be open to watching it? Or you take it offline and say, I would love to connect with you. This is so cool that you are in agreement and alignment with what I preach and what I am passionate about. So the reason we post on Facebook is not just get a bunch of likes and count them.
Right.
It's to follow up. That's your follow-up list, right? Those are my prospect list. Oh, that so-and-so liked all these. I'm going to connect and ask them if they have heard about Juice Plus yet. So that also,
how you can be a lander in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so I did, yes, but there's some really good, and I don't know, Reagan, was that a company wide, like the 2x2?
Yeah,
Maybe that was
that out. That was called that was Wendy Campbell 2x2 who came up with that.
Yes, and it's a great,
before I started.
Okay, great system though. So I would even say that, like, or
that
up it to
part-time magic, right? So that you know, if you could connect with 2 people, you know, new people, 2 customers, 2 new people to join your team, and 2 reps. I mean, you could go off and do other things for the day and your business would still grow. And I think she had it figured out that you would get to NMD in 18 months if you actually did that 5 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. People are going faster than that now because of social media, because you can talk to 10 by 10 by 10 now easily.
Exactly.
We used to have to box our orders in, you know?
Yep. In fact, Jackie, I know your goal because you shared it with me last night. Your goal would be 10 by 10 by 10. Because it's social media and you have time and you have the desire. So I would do that 10 by 10 by 10. Monday through Friday, girl, you'll be walking the stage very, very quickly.
Yeah. Easy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You're welcome.
Don't be shy.
Yeah. I bear it all.
I love it.
UConn, you guys don't have a question? I'm shocked. Judy? Just to unmute. There I knew she'd have a question.
I don't have a question. I'm just so pumped up from this call with you. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Oh, thanks, Judy.
Thanks.
You're precious. Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, you guys are in such incredible hands. I mean, it's just like, wow. Yeah, I remember watching you come in to the Egg and I, actually, Reagan, and I thought, oh, she's a national marketing director, and I want that. But that confidence piece. So it's so fun to now just pass it on and authentically go, trust me, I had all that disbelief, but you can totally transform and do it.
Well, I think the other thing too is to be able not just to bless your team, but to bless everybody. I mean, to realize that we're a community together. It's not just, you don't want to isolate yourself and just your team. And that's why, I mean, look at, because I was able to bless Jules.
Yes.
To our events when she was new. Now she's blessing all, I mean, we've got, I think, 5 or 6 different teams on this call alone, right? Plus, I mean, we have a lot of people that listen to the recording. So, it's kind of cool to be able to just go, I'm just going to go out and bless and invite anybody that wants to come along. It doesn't matter what team they're on. And we'll see where it goes, right? I mean, you don't know until you go. So.
Absolutely. So true. So true. Yeah. It's really cool. And to be able to pass that on. Yeah. Cause truly, I mean, Reagan was my inspiration and still is, but especially, in early on, and then now 9.5 years later, and then you all will be doing it for your sideline buddies. So it's really an incredible ripple and something that I just love about our company and our culture of Juice Plus company. It's really unique. I mean, what other company there's not this competitive spirit. It really is like we all can win. We all can have this time freedom and flexibility, and everyone can get to NMD. Everyone can get to 100 Club. It's if you want it.
Right.
Make the choice. So, yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, Jules. Thank you so much. That was
You're welcome.
Absolutely incredible. I have 2 pages of notes myself, and I love some of your books and things like that. And I'll definitely get those posted up as well for everybody. So thank you so much. You're such a blessing. And
you are too.
I know you're going to hit 24 Club this month. Woohoo!
Yes, I know. I'm like, oh, time to get to work. Yes. Okay, you guys have a great night.
All right.
Thank you.
Jules. Thanks, Jules.
Bye.
Thank you.